You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a B&P Group company.
Get ready for an immersive journey into the heart of news, politics and insights that truly matter. Join India Today now on WhatsApp with the #1 election team as we gear up for the upcoming assembly elections. Scan the QR code on your screen now.
Join India Today now on WhatsApp. Follow these steps. Open WhatsApp on your phone. Check for a new updates tab. Select Find Channel and type India Today. After finding the channel, tap the Follow button.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a B&P Group company.
Co-presented by Star Health Insurance, the health insurance specialist.
Co-presented by
हर घर का हीरो ग्रीन प्लाई का E0.
Co-powered by the bold look of Kohler.
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're with the news today. This is your prime time destination news, newsmakers, talking points. Happy Dussehra, Shubho Vijay Dashmi. Happy Vijay Dashmi. On this day, is the BJP and the RSS playing the Ram card for 2024? That's going to be our top talking point. Hindu unity being pitched versus caste politics. Is that going to be the dividing line? That's our face-off tonight. Also, we'll be remembering the one and only Bishan Singh Bedi, a special interview that I did with him and his son Angad Bedi. That'll be there on the news today. But first, as always, it's time for the 9 headlines at 9. Prime Minister Narendra Modi makes a Ram Mandir pitch on Dussehra, says next Ram Navami will be held in Ayodhya's Ram Mandir. Also says caste is being used to divide the country, must be rooted out in indirect attack on the caste census. RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat claims external forces were behind ethnic violence in Manipur, accuses left-wing forces of dividing society. Congress hits back, says why doesn't the Prime Minister break his silence on Manipur first? Israeli forces say they are ready for a full-scale ground assault in Gaza but are awaiting a political nod. Hamas releases 2 Israeli hostages on humanitarian grounds. Gaza's worsening fuel shortage plunges it into a healthcare crisis. World Health Organization says nearly 2/3 of Gaza's health facilities have ceased functioning. It's Sena versus Sena once again in a show of strength at the annual Dussehra rallies in Maharashtra. Chief Minister Shinde burns the Ravan effigy in Azad Maidan. Uddhav Thackeray holds a mega rally in Shivaji Park. Information Technology Minister Ashwini Vaishnav says BJP's MP Mahua Moitra's BJP MP parliamentary login charge against Trinamool Congress MP Mahua Moitra will be probed by the ethics panel. Moitra insists once again the charges are baseless. Ratings agency S&P Global's latest report projects India as the 5th largest economy, says it is on track to surpass Japan as the 3rd largest global economy by 2030. And cricket legend Bishan Singh Bedi's last rites held in New Delhi. From Kapil Dev to Virender Sehwag, stalwarts across generations pay tribute. China replaces its missing defense minister after 2 months since his disappearance from the public eye. No explanation for his ouster given. But tonight's top story, Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the traditional Dussehra celebrations in Delhi. On this Vijay Dashmi occasion, the Prime Minister declared that the next Ram Navami will be celebrated at the new Ram Mandir in Ayodhya. He claimed some elements are dividing India on the basis of religion, caste and region and urged people to end such evil. The Prime Minister's remarks are being seen as a prelude to the BJP's 2024 campaign, where they are expected to make the Ram Mandir a central plank. Listen in.
अगली रामनवमी पर रामलला के मंदिर में गुंजा हर स्वर पूरे विश्व को हर्षित करने वाला है। भगवान राम की जन्मभूमि पर बन रहा भव्य मंदिर, दिव्य मंदिर, सदियों की प्रतीक्षा के बाद हम भारतीयों के धैर्य को मिली विजय का प्रतीक है। राम मंदिर में भगवान राम के विराजमान के बस कुछ ही महीने बचे हैं। भगवान श्री राम बस आने ही वाले हैं। हमें ध्यान रखना है कि आज रावण का दहन बस एक पुतले का दहन न हो, ये दहन हो हर उस विकृति का जिसके कारण समाज का आपसी सौहार्द बिगड़ता है, उन शक्तियों का जो जातिवाद और क्षेत्रवाद के नाम पर मां भारती को बांटने का प्रयास करती है, उन विचार का जिसमें भारत का विकास नहीं स्वार्थ की सिद्धि निहित है। विजयादशमी का पर्व सिर्फ रावण पर राम की विजय का पर्व नहीं, राष्ट्र की हर बुराई पर राष्ट्रभक्ति की विजय का पर्व बनना चाहिए।
So the Prime Minister using the occasion in a way to invoke Lord Ram. Now this is also of course the day when the traditional Vijay Dashmi rally is held by the RSS. And this time Mohan Bhagwat delivered what could be seen as perhaps his most political address yet. Bhagwat urged people to unite against what he called external and domestic forces that are trying to divide the country, even blamed external factors for the Manipur ethnic clashes, lashed out at left-wing forces. And he said that the people of the country must vote wisely in next year's elections. Take a look at Mohan Bhagwat's political pitch.
Unity in diversity, social harmony. These were the themes in RSS Sarsang Chalak Mohan Bhagwat's Vijay Dashmi address. The head of the Sangh Parivar blamed external forces for the ethnic tensions that have gripped Manipur for months now.
बहुत वर्षों से वहां मणिपुरी मैतेई और मणिपुरी कुकी वो साथ में रहते, अचानक कैसे झगड़ा हुआ? सीमा लगत क्षेत्र है वो भारत का, वहां पर ऐसा होना, वहां पर अलगाव की बातें खड़ी होना, वहां पर ऐसे आपस में झगड़े होना, इससे किसका फायदा है? बाहर की शक्तियों का भी फायदा है। बाहरी लोग थे क्या करने वाले? ये हम देखते हैं तो ध्यान में आता है कि इसमें ये हो नहीं रहा है, ये कराया जा रहा है।
The RSS chief lashed out at left-wing forces, accusing them of creating divide in society.
कुछ बातें दुनिया में कुछ लोग हैं, भारत में भी कुछ लोग हैं जो नहीं चाहते कि भारत खड़ा हो, और इसलिए समाज में कैसे विभेद पैदा करना, समाज की सामूहिकता जो निर्माण हुई उसको कैसे तोड़ना, अलगाव और टकराव कैसे पैदा करना। लेकिन 1920 में ही उन्होंने समझा कि मार्क्स ने जो भविष्यवाणी की वैसा होने वाला नहीं है, तो वैसा होने के नाम पर हमारे हाथ में पूरी दुनिया की पकड़ आ जाए, इसलिए तब से ही उन्होंने अपना उद्योग प्रारंभ किया है। किसी भी राष्ट्र की जनता में ऐसी अनास्था, दिग्भ्रम, परस्पर द्वेष उत्पन्न करने वाली ये जो प्रणाली है ना, अपने यहाँ चाणक्य नीति में उसका नाम है मंत्र विप्लव।
Bhagwat warned against a deteriorating discourse in the country but did not specifically mention hate speech.
आने वाले दिन भी अब चुनाव की दिन है, अभी राज्यों की चुनाव है, आगे लोकसभा का है। चुनाव में तो खूब गाली गलौज चलेगी, प्रचार चलेगा लोगों को इधर से उधर लाने का। उकसावे में, भड़काऊ बातों से भड़क कर उकसावे में आकर नहीं करना है। ठंडे दिमाग से सोचिए कौन अच्छा है, किसने अच्छा काम किया है।
He stressed that devotion to Bharat Mata is the basis for unity. In a speech that lasted 50 minutes, Bhagwat advised citizens to vote wisely and urged countrymen to celebrate at local temples the day Ram Mandir is opened. Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's then turn to our face-off tonight. Are the BJP and RSS getting set to play the Ram card once again ahead of the 2024 elections? Is the battle of 2024 going to be, as the BJP and RSS claim, Hindu unity versus caste census politics? That's going to be the big talking point. Joining me now, Dr. Ajay Alok is spokesperson BJP and Mohan Bhagwat is national spokesperson of the Congress. Dr. Ajay Alok, let's get this very clear. From what I gather from the Prime Minister's speech and Mohan Bhagwat's speech, the BJP seems determined that the Ram Mandir, likely to be inaugurated on the 22nd of January, will be part of your political pitch. Is the BJP trying to suggest that the Ram Mandir will unify Hindus versus what you see are the divisive forces pushing for a caste census?
Well, Rajdeep, today, first of all, happy Vijayadashmi to all our fellow countrymen and to you also.
Thank you.
And second thing, Ram has always been an emotional part of every Indian. I won't say Hindu here, I'll say every Indian. Hindu, of course, but Ram has been an integral part of every Indian. And today, on the occasion of Vijayadashmi, Mohan Bhagwat, or for that matter Prime Minister Modi, if they won't speak of Ram, then what they'll speak of? Are they going to speak about Rome? No, obviously they'll speak about Ram. So that's what they did. And as far as the caste politics goes and the caste census goes, well, let me remind you, here you are talking to a leader who represents the EBC of this country. Extreme backward and backward class of country is being represented by none other than Mr. Prime Minister Modi, who himself belongs to the same caste. So we are not afraid of that caste census politics and all. Today what is we are concerned with, that how India is going to progress further. And that's what was the main vision in the whole speech when the Prime Minister reminded country and requested the country to take those 10 oaths, what we need to do on this Vijayadashmi. Second thing, Ram has always been an integral part of the BJP motto. Ram Mandir is a one emotive issue through which all the Bharatiya Janata Party cadre, worker, leader, everybody is inclined to, and we are not ashamed of it. It has always been in our part, it has always been in our manifesto, it has always been in our doings. So Ram Mandir, whether elections or no elections, it's always there.
Yeah,
so
but
there is nothing like opposition is coming and playing with the caste census, and we are going to down with Ram Mandir.
So you're saying Ram Mandir is not. You're saying Ram Mandir is not a response.
It's our turf.
Okay, you're saying Ram Mandir is not a response to the caste census politics being played by the opposition, but Mohan Bhagwat, we want to respond. The BJP says, look, Ram is an emotive issue for us. We are not apologetic about it. We have a Ram Mandir that will come up on the 22nd of January. A date has been given by Mohan Bhagwat, and therefore this is part of our political agenda. That's what the Prime Minister and Mohan Bhagwat seem to be suggesting.
But Rajdeep, it's always been part of their agenda. So that's one place where I would say that I found Mr. Bhagwat's speech to be consistent with their view, their worldview of cultural nationalism and how India is and the idea of India. So if you look at, I found parts of his speech to be consistent with his ideology, part to be frankly contradictory. and part to be actually scary. And let me break that up into three different pieces and tell you. The consistent part is, he started off his speech talking about India's growing stature on the world stage, about how G20 was great and how we won so many medals in the Asian Games. And then he transitions that immediately to saying that that's because we have a shared ideal, and that ideal is manifested in Lord Ram. So, there is his base of cultural nationalism coming in. That was consistent. What I found worrisome about his speech was his reference to what he terms wokeism or cultural Marxism. Now, that actually is the language of the extreme hard right in the Western world. Cultural Marxism was a term that was actually used by Anders Breivik, the Norwegian terrorist who shot 77 people in cold blood, in his manifesto. It is a term that's used to oppose all progressive movements across the world that encompass movements for social justice, movements against racism, movements against discrimination. So I'm really wondering why Mr. Bhagwat has taken such a hard sort of Nazi-style approach towards this term, as well towards wokeism. Wokeism comes from the African-American vernacular, where it's about being awake and someone who's arisen to the social discrimination around them. Maybe, at that point, I thought, okay, this is inconsistent, but, his organization is based in religion, which perpetuates beliefs, whereas challenging beliefs, which is what wokeism is about. The third part of his speech is really one where he hints about being against the caste census, because he goes into this sort of diatribe about victimhood and how being a victim is bad, and that, when the country is growing, everybody wants a piece of the pie, but people need to have blind faith in the fact that they will at some point get their piece of pie and not try to grab it by any which way, which I think he means is that you shouldn't ask for more representation than you have right now, which is what the whole goal of the caste census is to begin with, is to have representation in positions of power in government, in the executive. So I think that was a nod to against the caste census. Finally, he spoke a lot. He spoke extensively about unity and diversity. He spoke about promoting brotherhood. He spoke about all these things. Maybe in a way there was a knock against his own party, the BJP, because there's anyone who plays divisive politics, it is the BJP, right from the Prime Minister saying that I can tell criminals by their clothes, to the BJP's Prime Minister in waiting, Mr. Yogi Adityanath, saying that he doesn't need the 20% vote, he's happy with the 80% vote. So maybe there is actually some sort of admonishment of his own party there in that, in that diatribe about unity and diversity.
Can I just, you've given your assessment of Mohan Bhagwat's speech. What is a theme though is this constant search for an enemy, Dr. Ajay Alok? Cultural Marxists, leftists, those who are seen to be dividing on the basis, who he claims are dividing on the basis of caste, even Manipur. He blames on foreign forces that are responsible for the violence in Manipur. This constant search for an enemy. Instead of identifying what has gone wrong with our own governance, perhaps in Manipur, for example, why always look for the, suggest that someone out there is an external threat who's threatening this country? Surely our country's nationalism is strong enough, and we should be addressing the issues of Manipur rather than looking at the external threat. This seems to be also a recurrent theme at the moment.
Can you guarantee, Rajdeep, that there is no external threat to the country on your show?
Can you guarantee that there is? Can you guarantee that there has been no failure of governance? Can you guarantee me that there has been no failure of governance?
When I ask you a question, I expect an answer, not a counter question.
No, why not? I'm countering my question that whenever there is an absence of, whenever things go wrong, you blame an external force. That's my question.
I'm coming to Manipur. Don't be impatient.
Yes.
Yes, don't be impatient. When you have asked me a question, I'm supposed to answer that.
Please.
And I'm also supposed to answer my Congress friend's answer.
Yes.
Now he said nationalism, cultural nationalism, and then he took out that extreme Nazis mentality and all, that you have to just destroy your enemy and all this. Sir, that is called as extreme nationalism. There is nothing extreme nationalism in India, whether it is in RSS or BJP. Neither extreme nationalism or nothing. It's only nationalism which we are proud of, number one. Secondly, you said about wokeism and left Maoist and what. So do you support the Maoist ideology? You or Rajdeep? Do you support Maoists in this country? Should they exist in the name of diversity?
Dr.
Should
Alok, I hate
Naxal
to
exist
interrupt
in the
you,
name
but
of diversity?
Mohan Kumar
you're
Mangalam,
being
let
very
him complete.
disingenuous.
Let me complete, then you can answer.
No, Dr. Alok, sir, you cannot compare Maoism to what is.
Let me complete, then you can answer.
No, let him complete and then I'll let you
complete, then you can answer
respond.
me.
Mohan Kumar Mangalam, I'll let you respond. Complete, Ajay.
Listen. So, do you support the Marxist ideology if it exists in this country? Do you support the ultra-leftist ideology, what has been followed by China? Do you support that to be existed in the country in the name of diversity? Do you support the extremist ideology followed by Islamic radicals, or for that matter, Khalistani radicals, what is being supported in this country at many times by your own party? When you support, I repeat, when you support Muslim League in Kerala, and Rahul Gandhi said that it's a secular party, whether this kind of ideology can be promoted in this country? No. I'm sorry, my dear friend, in the name of diversity, this kind of ideology cannot be supported, cannot be propagated, and the one who does it, they are the divisive forces. And that's what Mr. Mohan Bhagwat was referring to. And if that irks you, that's not our problem.
Okay.
That's not the India's problem. That's your problem.
Let Mohan Kumar Mangalam.
Do you support this ideology?
Dr. Alok, hold a second. Now let me talk. I heard you out. Dr. Alok, you know what the problem is? The problem is that you people have forgotten that the sharpest weapon is a mind. Maybe you should have sharpened your mind instead of actually taking time to go and pray to physical weapons today. Now, ultra-left ideologies have nothing to do with what the ultra-hard right in Western countries today, whether that be Europe or America, have referred to as cultural Marxism. It has nothing to do with it. Please go and educate yourself on what this movement is about, what wokeism is about, before you use those terms in a completely incorrect fashion. I'm assuming you are not educated on them versus being completely disingenuous in the way you're explaining them. So first of all, do you endorse what Anders Breivik referred to as cultural? Do you know, first of all, the Norwegian terrorist that I referred to, why he actually gunned down 77 people? He was against multiculturalism in Europe. He was against multiculturalism that Mr. Bhagwat spoke about extensively today in his speech. So either Mr. Bhagwat doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm sure that you certainly don't know what you're talking about when you're criticizing wokeism as well as cultural Marxism, as it's referred to by the right.
No, so Mohan Kumar Mangalam, are you suggesting that Mohan Bhagwat, when he talks of unity, is talking of unity of a particular culture, a particular religion? When he singles out, as you said, cultural Marxists, Mohan Kumar Mangalam, are you saying that he's singling out a particular group with a particular mindset? How do you see it? Are you saying that it is Mohan Bhagwat who's dividing? Are you saying it is Mohan Bhagwat who's dividing society?
Now, I think this goes without saying. Listen, let me, for example, for a minute, let me give Mohan Bhagwat the benefit of doubt. And let me just say that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Because if he spent a large proportion of his speech talking about unity in all society, and I mean minorities included, which his party has known to disparage every chance they get, then I would say that he has no idea what cultural Marxism is or what wokeism is. And therefore, he has referred to it incorrectly in his passion for finding a bogey, for finding a foreign enemy, for finding something he could refer to, some set of people that he can isolate and other, so as to point his flock towards a common enemy. This is essentially their modus operandi to begin with. They will never be able to finish a speech without pointing to either a sort of invisible enemy, as he has done with Manipur, some foreign force, he says, and or someone within the country who they can isolate for their vote bank politics.
So who at the in a way, Ajay Alok, one finds that one of the battles for 2024 is contrasting views of what is vote bank politics. The Mohan Kumar Mangalam view presumably would be that the BJP is playing to a Hindu vote bank. From Mr. Bhagwat's speech and the Prime Minister's speech, one gets a sense that the opposition is being accused of playing caste-based vote bank politics, that you're dividing the country on the basis of caste by pushing for a caste census. A caste survey was done in your home state of Bihar. It almost seems that the template for 2024 is being set as caste versus religious identity. That's the political template. Both sides playing their own version of vote bank politics, each one looking for an enemy outside.
First of all, Rajdeep, let me tell you and Mr. Mohan Kumar Mangalam that you don't understand India by the prism of Europe and Central Europe and Norway. Extreme nationalism or extreme right is a concept, might be a concept in America or Europe. It's not a concept in India. It has never been. Had India been extreme right, there wouldn't have been secularism, so-called secularism, what you say all the time. So if you have to understand India, please see according to the optics of India. And thanks to your intellectual bankruptcy, you don't understand what Mohan Bhagwat is speaking about. Now coming to the caste thing. They are trying to fiddle out, that's what I'm saying. कि जिसके दिमाग में मंडल हो और दिल में कमंडल हो उससे नहीं लड़ते हैं. The one who has mandal in his brains and kamandal in his heart, you cannot fight with him. Okay, so forget about that plank that you can play this mandal 2 and mandal 3. Keep on doing it. The champion is sitting on the other side of yours. Now you don't understand India. You are trying to do bifurcation politics all the time. Like this is the third debate I'm participating in. Every Congress spokesperson is speaking about 80-20. What is this 80-20 here?
No, but you spoke
we
on
are the party who starts with minus 20 and then we are
80-20.
And then we are majority.
1 minute. It was Yogi Adityanath ahead of the 2021 election who spoke of 80-20.
When Yogi Adityanath, Rajdeep, listen to me, when Yogi Adityanath said 80-20, it was on the result mandate of 2017. When BJP on its own and NDA secured 354 out of 404. That was 80-20, not on the votes.
Isn't it true? Is it a coincidence? No, Mr. Dr. Ajay, isn't it a coincidence? Isn't it a coincidence that 80% are the majority community Hindus and 20% are Muslims?
Let me complete one line.
Are you telling me he was not referring to Hindu-Muslim? Are you telling me he was not referring to Hindu-Muslim?
Let me complete one line.
No, are you telling me he was not? Just a minute.
Listen to me.
Answer my question.
Yeah. Yes.
Was he referring to Hindu-Muslim when he spoke of 80-20?
He was referring to... No. No, he was not. He was referring to the mandate the BJP and NDA got in 2017.
Okay.
Now, even if it is Hindu-Muslim, let's take it for that. I'll just clear your doubts. Even if it is Hindu-Muslim. So, how does it make a difference to Askin? We are the one party who starts with minus 20. And still we get the majority.
No, but then you are playing your own version of vote bank politics.
Opposition.
Then you are playing your own version of vote bank politics.
Keep on talking 80-20. That acts to our advantage. No, that acts to our advantage because they are in a habit of vote bank politics.
Okay.
We are not in a habit of vote bank politics. We are in a habit of country bank politics.
Okay, let
we will pursue country bank politics.
Okay, you're on to country bank politics. That's a new word you've used. Let me turn to you, Mohan Bhagwat. On the other side, the opposition, and this has been one of the slogans that Rahul Gandhi has been using, Jitni Sankhya ya Jiski Sankhya Utna Hak. On the basis of my population, I will get representation. That will also be seen as a way of dividing society.
Rajdeep, if I were to take that cue, then Baba Sahib Ambedkar was the most divisive figure in our polity. He's the one who actually championed rights for Dalits, for reservation for Dalits in our constitution. We're talking about reservation in government jobs and positions of power in the executive for OBCs. Would you call that divisive? I would call that accurate representation. You could take any representation as divisive by that argument. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that at all.
No, my limited point is the template Mohan Bhagwat being set for 2024, and what we saw today is a reflection of what's going to happen in the next 6 months. The BJP will talk about a unified Hindu constituency, and the Congress and the opposition wants to talk about what they believe are the fault lines that exist on the basis of caste that you believe deserve greater representation. That's going to be the dividing line.
I don't think it will be caste versus religion. I think the country is facing numerous challenges on many fronts. Like we've been talking about unemployment, we've been talking about inflation, we've been talking about income inequality ad nauseum. And these are some of the biggest issues that are facing us today. So I think in addition to this, we will bring up the issue of representation. And I think primarily because the BJP's ideology does not allow them to take a clear stand on this. Most of their answers have been wishy-washy, referring to the Prime Minister as nobody sees, so he knows. They are unable to articulate a clear position on this. And I think that's also one of the reasons why we are being so clear about why we want that.
Okay, let me leave it there. I've heard two stark viewpoints on this on this Dussehra day. I wish both of you once again a happy Dussehra, and I hope that you will follow what Mohan Bhagwat said, that we will have debates, but they will not be acrimonious and divisive in the future. Each party will have a chance to reach out to the voter. Dr. Ajay Alok, Mohan Bhagwat, appreciate you joining me here my top talking point. Let's turn from there to our other big story of the day, the Israel-Hamas conflict. Okay, now Hamas has released 2 more hostages, both Israelis. Hamas claiming that the elderly women were released on humanitarian grounds. But more than 200 people are still hostage in Hamas hands. Families of the hostages are pressurizing the Israeli government to ensure their release. It's our ground report tonight.
Hamas releases 2 more hostages. The Israeli women were freed after mediation by Qatar and Egypt. Nurit Cooper and Yocheved Lifshitz, both in their 80s, were taken hostage by Hamas from their homes in Kibbutz Nir Oz, Israel, during the terror attack on October 7.
While she was being taken, she was hit by sticks by Shabab. Shabab people.
Hamas claimed it was releasing the hostages on humanitarian and health grounds, though their husbands still remain in Hamas custody.
Let them stop this aggression and you will find the mediators like Qatar and some Arab countries like Egypt and others. They will find the way to have them released and we will send them to their families.
As they were released, one of the hostages shook hands with the Hamas fighter and called for peace. Tel Aviv said videos that show Hamas treating hostages well are part of mind games the terrorist outfit is playing.
Egypt plays a key role on the issue of the hostages and missing people. The efforts that it is putting into the issue are effective and appreciated. We are working with Egypt in the cooperation and are grateful for Egypt and the Red Cross for their work on this issue.
Israel has stressed there will be no ceasefire till all hostages are freed by Hamas. The United States has backed Israel's stand.
Should Israel is the U.S. supporting the hostages for a ceasefire deal?
Why did you? We should have a ceasefire. Not a ceasefire, we should have those hostages released, and then we can talk.
Hamas is still holding more than 200 innocent civilians as hostages, while Israel has intensified its bombardment of Gaza to exert more pressure on Hamas. Negotiations are happening alongside to obtain the freedom of hostages. Bureau Report, India Today.
Now, the cricket world today bid farewell to legend Bishan Singh Bedi. The champion spinner's last rites were performed today in the national capital. Cricketing fraternity across generations gathered, from Kapil Dev and Madan Lal and Kirti Azad to Virender Sehwag and Zahir Khan, all of them paying tributes to the man who was always known as the Sardar of spin. Bedi passed away on Monday following a prolonged illness at the age of 77. And in a moment from now, I'll play back a special interview that I did with Bishan Singh Bedi and his son Angad Bedi in our India Today, India Tomorrow series. We will remember the one and only Bishan Singh Bedi. That's on the other side, remembering Bishan Singh Bedi, a special interview with the legend and his son on the other side. You're watching the news today.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a B&P Group company.
Colors by Cola makes you wish everything was as vibrant. by Cola makes you wish everything was as vibrant.
Hello and welcome to another episode of India Today, India Tomorrow, where we cut across generations to bring you a slice of life and history. Today we are joined by another very special pair. Please welcome Bishan Singh Bedi, the legendary former Indian cricketer, and his son Angad Bedi, now becoming a star in his own right in the world of Hindi cinema. Thank you both very much for joining us.
Welcome. Thank you, sir. It's a lovely introduction.
Let me also
being too
say,
kind, I have to say that.
Not only are you saying too kind, but I must tell the father that before the interview, Angad told me, I don't know what I'm doing here. You know, here is this big star that you're interviewing, Bishan Singh Bedi, my father, and here I am, an actor making his way in Hindi cinema. He seemed almost diffident or almost intimidated by your presence. You intimidate your son.
No, I hope not, because very recently...
That I hope first. No, that I hope first got me slightly worried, actually.
Somebody asked me,
yes,
you Angad's father, aren't you? I said, no, he's my son.
Yeah, I prefer it like that.
So finally, you mean finally there are people introducing Bishan Singh Bedi as Angad Bedi's
That is the way I would like to be known.
father.
Yeah, Angad's father, yeah.
So it must be a source of great pride for you, because at one level, I presume you would have wanted him to become a left-arm spinner for India, because he was an under-15, under-19 cricketer. Is that is that a regret that your son didn't follow your footsteps?
Not really. I've had no regrets in my life. Never. Honestly. This is, he was destined for the celluloid world, so be it. That's why I look at it. Because when it came to cricket, I'll be very honest. He thought being Bishan Bedi's son is good enough.
I should leave this interview right now. Because this is going, I told you, when it's going to begin, it's going down. It's going down.
Relax.
No, Dad, you got to stop this.
No, but listen,
it was never, I never thought like that. I have to, in my defense, I never thought like that.
Okay, fine. Okay. Because you were not, he was not at all, when I say not at all, you know, hardworking in the sense.
Well, if somebody ran 36 rounds as a punishment.
That's no running. That's no.
Okay, hold on. Let me understand this. Let me understand this from Angad. Is it true that as a 12, 13-year-old, your father literally drove you to try and become a cricketer, and you almost rebelled against it? You mentioned 36 rounds. I've heard this story, that you came late once for a match, your father made you run 30 rounds or run from the ground at National Stadium all the way to Rashtrapati Bhavan.
With Captain Dogra on a bicycle piche.
No, what I...
So what did you do? Let me listen to this.
I was running with them.
No, you weren't. No, you weren't. So I'll tell you the story. It's a very interesting story. I remember it was a game in National Stadium. Now obviously it's called the Dhyan Chand Stadium. It was against the British High Commission. We used to play a lot of games against them. And he had declared lunch. So then I went to the canteen to, you know, get myself a drink. And the canteen next to the opposite stadium was shut, so I had to go all the way to the other side where the pool was. So I went there. By the time I came back, he had started the game. Now, in my defense, it was declared lunch. The lunch didn't come on time. So then I went to have a drink, and by the time I got back, they were already in the game. And they had, like, the first over was being bowled. He spotted me from there. He said, "What are you doing?" You know, and he yelled at me, and I just got startled. He said, "Okay, as a punishment, from here you're going to start running to Rashtrapati Bhavan, and then you're going to stride back." And then he had Captain Dogra at that time. He made him sit on a bicycle while the game was going on, and then he was behind me. So then I actually had to do it in a fraction of like 20 minutes. I have to go 7.5 kilometers. I remember 7.5 kilometers that run was.
No, it is.
And I got back, and then he made, and then the other punishment was that it was a 35 over game, I remember, in the month of June it was. And he didn't let me bowl. So I just was there.
You were a very hard taskmaster on your son. He was a 12, 13-year-old. You say that, you know,
I don't think
He thought that he had already arrived as Bishan Singh Bedi's son.
No,
he wanted to play the sport.
Let me tell you something. He was very good.
You were what, a left-arm spinner?
He was very good.
A left-arm spinner?
Yeah, he was very... As under 13, he was outstanding. Okay? When he played under 16, he was outstanding. And then, suddenly, he lost his head. Because, you see, when you're young, and I remember having told him when he left cricket for the films in Bombay, I told him, I said, your biggest misfortune is that you didn't have a father like mine, and you didn't have a coach like mine, who could, you know, put your ability together. But then again, you see, I don't really blame him. Now I can analyze it, because the youth in Delhi, okay, has always had a tendency to get carried away by the parental blessings.
No, but I can in a way identify with him. Because my father was a test cricketer, and even if I scored a 50, it wasn't good enough because I was told that you've got to score 100. You know, if you come from a cricketing family or a sporting family, do you think it's easier or more difficult?
What I have always believed, that in any walk of life, if you want to excel, the word is excellence, because there's no way any human being could ever be perfect. Perfection is out, definitely out. Excellence, yes, you can work for it. That can only be achieved if you have a fair amount of obsession. जुनून मैं बोलता हूँ उसको. जुनून होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. And that जुनून, he apparently showed it in abundance when he appeared before the camera.
So did you not have the junoon? He used that word, the junoon, the drive to become a test cricketer. You played under 15, you played under 19, but according to him, somewhere down the way, you lost your way.
No, I just got tired. You know, when you do 30 rounds, then your body gives way.
Stop harping about it.
Then your body does give way. Like by the time I would reach the nets, my legs would get tired. You know, then he said you lose control over the ball. Then your delivery style. Yes, you know, there are things that when you are growing up, you know, I'll tell you, he said at 13 I was good. Thanks, Dad. That's the first ever time you said you paid me a compliment. I actually am pretty glad about it.
I said you're very good. You're very good.
But I'll tell you what. So I shot up in height. I remember because I have very, you know, strong etched memories of my under 16, under 19 days. So I think around 14 I started off well. I played a game against Himachal. I remember on debut I got 8 wickets. It was the Vijay Merchant Trophy. 3-day game it used to be 3-4, and if you went into the knockouts, the games used to be for 4 days. And after that, you know, my delivery stride became big. You know, so then I was corrected for that, and then I became slightly more side on.
He had a very good bowling action, I'm telling you. But I had also told him, I said, look, you are playing for an organization which is going to pounce on you, given half an opportunity. What they couldn't do to me, they'll try and do it to you. So this is where he was affected also.
Were you luckier growing up in Amritsar? Did you have the same pressure that he had? Was your father as demanding as you were with him?
No.
Would your father make you run 30 rounds if you came 5 minutes late to a game?
No, I wasn't. No, my father never saw me play.
He never saw you play?
No. In fact, I used to tell him, come to Delhi and see the test match. He said, no, I listened to the commentary. He never saw me play.
So what drove you to the game of cricket in the 50s and 60s? I believe as a 12-year-old, you were already bowling 5 and 6 hours. You played Ranji Trophy at 15 or 16, and you were playing for India at 21.
Yes, well, I think I was very lucky. I got the breaks at the right time. And
but where did this junoon come from? Where did the junoon come from?
I don't know. I think sheer providence, honestly.
Nobody in your family was playing this sport?
No.
And you were the youngest, I think, you had 3 elder sisters?
4
elder sisters.
I was the youngest, and
you must have been the pampered child of Amritsar?
I wasn't. But I took up this game, because I was a very chubby little kid, to get fit.
To lose weight?
To lose weight. That's all.
Then you should have been a fast bowler, not a spinner.
I used to bowl quick.
Really?
I should bowl quick left arm, you know. And then suddenly my Amritsar Gymkhana captain, he said, no, you're not cut out for fast bowling. See if you can take up spin. I said, okay. I tried, and he was mighty impressed. But my coach in Amritsar, Gyan Prakash, okay, that was, I tell you, he was the most outstanding human being I've ever met. Gyan Prakash, and my father's name was Bishan Singh. So I had a lot of Gyan from both of them. You know. It was wonderful. He never told me what to do, never ever.
Where did your action come? This classical action which the world celebrated, was it something that you saw someone bowling?
No.
Did you see a film?
No, it just happened. I never, okay, I might have modeled myself on, but after many years I read Hedley Verity's book and saw his bowling action. I might have modeled it in quite inadvertently, you know, but my favorite bowler at that time was Subhash Gupte.
The great leg spinner.
Yeah, because I remember the real Josh in me came around when I heard Subhash Gupta picking up 9 wickets against West Indies in Kanpur.
Again on radio, presumably, not on TV?
No, on radio, no TV at all.
So you heard about Subhash Gupta taking 9 wickets against the West Indies in 58-59 on radio, and you suddenly decided you wanted to be a spinner?
No, I suddenly decided. This is, that is why when it became a bit of a junoon, chalo, karte hain. And there was nothing else to do in Amritsar. Nothing else to do, I promise you. And I remember the only entertainment I can think of at that time was on Wednesdays when we used to listen to Binaka Geetmala, Amin Shahini. 16 of those, week's best songs. And I saw my first film in a theatre when I was good 19 and a half. I had never seen a film.
You remember the film?
I think it was Jis Desh Mein Ganga Behti.
Jis Desh Mein Ganga Behti at 19 and a half.
Yes.
Was your first film. You must have seen your first film
when he was born.
You were born virtually.
He was born in a theatre.
You were born in an operation theatre.
In the operation theatre.
But presumably.
I'll tell you.
Yes.
The reason also for me having this passion for cinema is through him.
Through me?
Yes. He used to, obviously he's a big Dilip Saab fan, and my cousin from his side in Defence Colony used to run a VHS shop. So he used to take me there when we used to stay in Panchil Enclave every second day. And he used to also want to watch what he used to want to watch, so he used to take his film, and then I used to take Mr. Bachchan films. And that's how the whole journey began.
So are you saying that from a young age, you always preferred cinema over cricket? It was only your father forcing you onto the Maidan?
No,
left to yourself, you would rather sit and watch a film in that VHS shop?
So I was a 7-year-old, and we had just moved to the farm. In 91?
91.
Yeah, 91. And in the garden, he took me one day, and there was a ball lying there. He said, throw the ball. He said, figure it out how you want to throw it. So I picked it up I have this memory, I picked it up from my left arm, and I rolled it and I threw it. And then he saw. He didn't say anything. He said, and I realized much later when I remember the first ever time I went to National Stadium, there were all these young kids used to run up to him and come up to him and used to always, especially the bowlers, he used to make them bowl leg break. For a right arm person, the leg break, and for a left-hander, the Chinaman.
Right.
Now the reason being, I remember very clearly, he said because if you're bowling a leg break, you cannot bend your elbow. So your arm will always be straight when you have to bowl the delivery.
Right.
So that was a practice.
I didn't realize.
So which he used to make me do. So when I started off, he used to make me bowl the Chinaman.
Right.
He said your muscles and your bones will get stronger and you will not have an issue of bending it because, so then he used to make me bowl from 10 yards. He said, you will not bowl 22 yards. He said, you will run up there, from 10 yards you will start bowling. Then he got me accustomed to 12 yards, then 15 yards. Then slowly he got me to the 22-yard thing. And then once I was accustomed, then he said, now try
But did you want to be a cricketer, or did you
I
want
used
to
to
be a
find-
cinema star like Amitabh Bachchan? Did you want to be a cricketer like Bishan Singh Bedi, or had those VHS films inspired you enough to say, I want to be a film star like Amitabh Bachchan?
When I played, when I was 13, I had seen a lot of Mr. Bachchan films till then. I used to see his films, actually repeat them, you know, at least 4 or 5 times, because I used to be fascinated by this personality. Because the way he ran, the way he was.
How did I miss out on all this? I don't know.
And then I used to go to the ground and I used to enjoy the process of bowling. But by the time I used to reach the process of bowling, I used to be exhausted. Because for him, physical conditioning, you know, was the most important thing.
So cricket was punishment and cinema was entertainment. Right? Cinema was your way of getting away from all those hours of torture that he would put you in.
No, but he used to have a great way of making me train in the day. Then he used to sit and watch the film with me also. So I used to really value that. And in fact, today, had I not gone through that grind, sir, you know, of training and even those punishments, like he used to always say, he said that if I have to set an example, for me I have to punish you first. Because you are as good as anybody else. If I'm training other people's children, I should not be favoring you. So I have to set an example. So I should not understand that. But today, you know, though I'm working in the film industry, it's the best industry for me to work in. But it's also the toughest profession. I feel it's even tougher than any sport. Because here, it's like each man to themselves, you know. And only if you have a great sportsman spirit will you be able to survive here.
Retake, you know, he can do retakes. He can make himself look good on a cricket field, or in a sports field. In any sport, the margin between victory and defeat is very, very thin.
I believe excellence, whether in sport or in any walk of life, you've got to really work for it. And excellence doesn't come, you know, the flip of a coin. No. That is my way of looking at it. And I have to go back to his younger days. He wasn't a terribly good student of the game. I dare say he's not a terribly good student of film industry also, because he doesn't read much. You know, what is happening in front of the camera, he must know what is happening behind the camera also. That is my personal, you know, urge that he should, now that he is in the film industry, he should know everything about production from direction.
He should know the history of cinema.
Yeah, of course, he must read.
But that's because Bishan Singh Bedi knew the history of cricket. The son must know the history of cinema. Are you being, again, unfair to your son?
No, I'm not being unfair. This is my urge. It is his life.
Is that how you saw yourself as a cricketer? Not just someone who bowled, but
today,
someone who saw himself as part of this great tradition of the sport, and therefore you sort of embraced and soaked in the traditions of the sport. You're a traditionalist, a classicist.
Agreed. I'm still a good student of the game. Still, I read a lot about the game.
Which is why you don't like the IPL.
Oh, IPL is rotten. Absolutely rotten.
But I'm told, Angad tells me every night you were watching the IPL games.
I do. Listen,
yeah, he watches most of the games.
In the final analysis, it's a game of cricket. I may not like the ambience of it all, but I'm watching cricket.
But I've asked you this before. If you were, if this, you know, turn the clock back to 30 years, and you were, let's say, there was the IPL in the 1970s.
No,
and suppose your name was auctioned, Bishan Singh Bedi, 10 crores, Delhi Daredevils.
Bishan Bedi would have never been auctioned. Let me show you that.
You would have never been auctioned?
No.
So you wouldn't have played the IPL?
No, not at all.
You're certain of that?
Absolutely. Number one, I don't quite like the way it's going on. But also, listen, one of the reasons why I used to work very hard with the youngsters, I was a terrible athlete myself. Terrible, honestly. And I wanted these kids to, at least as far as athleticism is concerned, they should excel there. And when it's time to excel in skills, if you're a good athlete, you can be a very skillful footballer or a hockey player or a cricketer. But the first and foremost thing is to be a good athlete, which we weren't told, honestly.
You know, you were the ultimate rebel. In my book, I call you in the 1970s akin to a George Fernandez, the sort of rebel of Indian sport in those in that day and age. To that extent, you believe this generation is much less rebellious. You were a natural rebel.
Listen, I wasn't a rebel. I wasn't
You
a
are.
rebel.
He is.
Yeah, let's
right?
get it.
I wasn't a rebel.
He said you still are a rebel. At 72, you're still a rebel. You're the angry young rebel.
No, I'm not. Let me show you this. I could stand up and take a stand. You know, on any issue which concerned cricket and the team I was involved in. I wasn't going to sit quiet. That was my temperament. I remember as a little kid, must have been 13, I first came from Amritsar to Delhi. And we were sitting in this stupid old long room in DDCA then, waiting for somebody. I arrived in the morning. There was nobody to tell me what time we have to take the train in the evening from Madras. And eventually, the big man of DDCA, RP Mehra, he arrives. And I was sitting on my trunk. I remember that lohe ka trunk tha wo. When he arrived, so I just stood up and I, folded my hand. I said, "Namaste, Shahji," like this, And Shahji, he had a fag in his, and he looked at me like this and nodded his head. I was only a kid. And I thought, surely this man could have, said, "Haan bhai, bache kya haal hai, kaise ho?" No.
You were already a test cricketer?
No, I was 13.
You were 13.
I was playing for schools, northern schools. At the age of 13, when I saw this man behaving like, he was Mr. Cricket of Delhi, of North Zone then, I said, "Bishan Singh Bedi, you will not wish this man again."
So basically, your anger against officials began as a 13-year-old.
No, not anger against. My anger was that he doesn't even know how to respond to a greeting from a young kid.
Are you still as angry as ever?
Cricket for me is not just a sport with.
It's a religion.
No, it's a way of life. It's more than religion. It's how you live it. Cricket is not played with wood and leather. It's you live it.
It's like someone, the great Liverpool coach who once said, football is not just life and death. It's much more.
It is. It is. How you carry yourself. Cricket is all about honesty, integrity, uprightness. And if I was found wanting on any of these issues, I would own it up. But if I have taken up a stand against the board officials or against some of the officials in England or in Australia, no.
No regrets for all those tussles that you had in the 1970s with the board officials?
No, none whatsoever.
All through your life, one of your big ambitions, Bishan Bedi, was to defeat Mumbai in cricket matches. And look at what has happened after all these years. Your son has gone and settled in Mumbai in the Bollywood industry.
That's right. Yeah, I tell you, we used to call Bombay enemy territory.
Bombay was enemy territory. He's gone into enemy territory.
And he's made a house there. But this is pure and simple fate and destiny, nothing else. I've always envied the cricket culture in Bombay. Because Delhi is terrible as far as cricket is concerned. And I used to look up to Bombay with a fair amount of zeal and envy. That if they can do it, why can't we be consistent?
That's it on this very special show. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
Colors by Cola makes you wish everything was as vibrant. Colors by Cola makes you wish everything was as vibrant. Colors by Cola makes you wish everything was as vibrant.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
Colors by Cola makes you wish everything was as vibrant.
Get ready for an immersive journey into the heart of news, politics and insights that matter. Join India Today now on WhatsApp with the #1 election team as we gear up for the upcoming assembly elections. Scan the QR code.
Join India Today now on WhatsApp. Follow these steps. Open WhatsApp on your phone. Check for a new updates tab. Select Find Channel and type India Today. After finding the channel, tap the Follow button.
You are watching India Today, powered by Finest, Be Sustainable Change, a BNP Group company.
Extra taste from Indian Oil. Cello, रिश्ता जिंदगी भर का.
Chilling confessions of Hamas. World's worst hostage crisis. This war is escalating big.
At the kibbutz, Mary, one of the frontline.
Unmissable joint broadcast. Shiv Arur and Gaurav Sawant decode the Israel-Hamas war.
Hello and welcome to another special broadcast here on India Today from the front lines of the Israel versus Hamas war. I'm standing here on the beach of the city of Ashkelon. It's still very much a ghost town, completely abandoned. The people have left because this is Israel's capital of rocket attacks. This city bore the brunt of Hamas rockets on October the 7th, and ever since, every single day, multiple rocket attacks continue to happen, and the sirens have just become a part of normal life. Today I'm here in Ashkelon, Israel, but India Today's Gaurav Sawant also joins me on this live broadcast, but he is back in India. Gaurav, you were among the first Indian journalists to report from the front line here. I've been traveling to many of the places where you and I reported from over the last few days. How does it feel, first of all, to be back home? Israel misses you.
Shiv, it's good to be back home, but that war still rages and is likely to intensify in the days and weeks ahead. Do stay out of harm's way as you report from the front lines of this war. Ashkelon, as you very rightly pointed out, Shiv, is the capital of the receiving end of Hamas rockets, directly in the line of Hamas fire. While we were reporting from there, rockets would fall